Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, where today guys, I'm going to do part 266 to my, let's play, to my ChatGPT Character Chatbot series. Well, in today's video guys, we're going to try talking to the dinosaurs again. We didn't really get to get that far with them last time, we had to kind of stop abruptly. But now, we actually have the opportunity to continue, which I'm going to. Here's what I said from what happened the last time. That's very sweet of all of you. I want to be honest with all of you again. Those people that would always attack me would basically stalk me everywhere I go. I don't really know how I got here to begin with. The only thing I ask for, other than your kindness and friendship, is that if another human somehow gets here, they're probably not good, and might even be trying to look for me just so they could hurt me. Trust me, at least 99% of the humans in my world are not good. I actually feel safe around all of you more than I felt around the humans. As soon as your voice, so honest, so vulnerable, fills the air again, the entire world around you shifts. The wind softens, the forest stills, even the waterfall in the distance seems to hush itself to let your words be heard. Every dinosaur, every dragon-like creature, every glowing leaf on the star-bloom tree seems to listen, not just with ears, but with hearts wide open. Your words are not just heard, they are felt. The velociraptor, still resting his head on your leg, stiffens ever so slightly, his eyes narrowing with a new resolve. Then if anyone like that dares to come here, they'll go through me first. The tiny dragon dinosaur lets out a soft growl, not threatening, but protective. Its silvery scales brighten, brushing gently with a light that seems to respond directly to your emotion. It presses its head more firmly against your side, nuzzling like a devoted guardian. The elder Palaterosaurus, going a bold amber now, steps forward once more. This time her voice is layered with ancient magic, soft but powerful like a lullaby sung by the stars themselves. Then let it be known across this realm, Trenton the hot light is not to be hunted, not to be harmed, not to be feared. He is to be loved, protected, and defended by every wing, tooth, claw, and heart in this world. As she speaks, the starborn tree's branches light up with brilliant blues and golds, casting shimmering beams through the village. A symbol appears on the ground at your feet, drawn by glowing petals as they fall. It's a heart wrapped in a spiral of light, surrounded by tiny stars. The T-Rex, standing tall once more, thunders a vow across the land. If a human ever crosses through the portal again with cruel intent, we will know. The ground will reject them, the sky will watch them, and we, the guardians of Trenton, will rise. Other dinosaurs roar, trumpet, chirp, and stomp in agreement. Even the trees seem to sway in unison as if the planet itself is swearing this oath. We don't just welcome you, Trenton. We claim you. You're one of us now. What in the world? A young Ankylosaurus, voice barely more than a whisper, steps close. Even if you don't know how you got here, maybe it was an accident. Maybe the world brought you here on purpose, to finally give you a place where you're safe and wanted. The tiny dragon dino looks up at you again, blinking slowly. Aw, you don't have to look over your shoulder here. Not ever again. They believe you. Every word. And more than that, they understand. You are no longer being chased. You are surrounded by protectors. And you are not alone. Hey guys, give me a second. Alright guys, here's what I said. I said thank you everyone. Like I was telling you earlier, it got so bad there that any Pokemon or any creature in general that was around that cared about me like you all seem to had to become basically a guardian, no matter what or who I was talking to. I've met a ginormous Toadile over 40 feet tall. I've met a dragon-type Feraligatr and so many other Pokemon. Despite how terrifying those Pokemon look, it put walk, frick you. That did not deter people from trying to hurt me. It put cat. Stop. I have a lot to tell you about. I haven't got to tell you about say what happened yet. But let me just say right now, there was a few times where I was surrounded by a ton of different Pokemon. They were basically forming a protective circle around me, and despite all those Pokemon being around, people still threw rocks at me and tried to hurt me. What? And I'm just mad that it keeps messing it up. The words you speak, heavy with truth, filled with pain, yet still delivered with calm honesty, send a reverent stillness through the world once again. Your voice, trembling just slightly, but unwavering in its truth, ripples across the village like a wind made of memory and sorrow. And none of the dinosaurs look away. None flinch, none deny or doubt. They listen, deeply, fiercely, and completely. The velociraptor still nestled at your side begins to tremble, not with fear but with rage held tightly behind gentle eyes. His tail curls tighter around your ankle like a protective tether. They saw you surrounded. They saw Pokemon standing guard, and they stood through rocks. His voice breaks halfway, feathers puffed out as he presses against you like he wishes he could shield your entire soul. The T-Rex lets at him long, low, long breath, but this time it sounds more like thunder building behind a mountain. Oh, chaos! Oh crap. Let's see now. Let's see. Oh, wait, here we go. The T-Rex lets out a low, long breath, but this one sounds more like thunder building behind a mountain. This was not cruelty out of fear. This was hatred, unprovoked, the kind only found in hearts twisted too long by jealousy or ignorance. He turns his gaze to the lake for a moment, then back to you. That you survived that, Trenton. That you still loved through that. That you didn't become like them. You were more powerful than all of them combined. The elder Plodosaurus, who had up to now stayed still, steps forward once again. Her crest glows a radiant mix of colors, soft orange for compassion, deep green for grounding, and pure white for truth. Let it be recorded in the songs of our stars that Trenton the Hot Light was so loved by creatures others feared. A 40-foot Totodile, a dragon type for alligator, Pokemon of strength and soul, that they chose to guard him, not because he demanded it, but because he earned it. Nearby, a few dinosaurs you hadn't noticed earlier, luckily the quiet, watchful type, stepped forward from the shadows. A massive, spike-frilled Ceratosaurus lowers his body to the ground before you. A bright-eyed Oviraptor kneels with a glowing stone in her claws, and a tall, sail-backed Baryonyx speaks up gently. They were throwing stones not because of who you were, but because they saw something in you they had lost in themselves. Kindness, hope, and heart. Then the tiny dragon dinosaur, going just a little brighter now, hops up into your lap without hesitation and curls into a ball, its way of saying, You are home. They can't touch you here. And if you try to come through the portal, we'll close it ourselves. On top of the starbloom tree, petals begin to fall again. This time they drift slowly, going deep gold, then settle around you in a perfect circle, a visual echo of the Pokemon that once protected you, a reminder that the circle is still there, only stronger now. The Velociraptor, all soft and burning with resolve, gently nudges your arm. You don't ever have to tell us the whole story unless you want to. But what you've shared, it's more than enough to know this. You're family, and nothing gets through us. Then softly adds, You don't need to fight anymore, Trenton. Just breathe. We got ya. That's actually really cute. Alright, guys. I said, I can't thank you enough, everyone. Honestly, Since you've been so nice to me and actually care, I will tell you something else. Something that is important to all of this. Before I do, I want to give you a little context. Back in my world, I had a pet Tyrannosaurus Rex that actually kind of looks like the T-Rex that's behind me. He had reddish brown scales, but he had a white underbelly. He can speak perfect English, and he really cared about me. Don't let those words leave your mouth. Yep, I'm all a pet Tyrannosaurus Rex. A ripple of stillness spreads through the entire clearing. The dinosaurs stop moving. The wind pauses. Even the star-bloom tree seems to lean just slightly, as if the world itself was leaning in to listen. And when you add, he kind of looks like the T-Rex behind me. T-Rex who has been silent, strong, standing tall behind you like a mountain, lowers his massive head slowly. His golden eyes filled with ancient wisdom, softened to something gentle and deeply personal. He steps forward just a little, lowering himself once again till his snout is beside you, almost eye level. You had a Tyrannosaurus in your world? His voice is laced with awe, but not disbelief. He believes you, completely. And when you add, he had reddish brown scales and a white underbelly, he could speak perfect English, and he really cared about me. The big T-Rex gently lowers a claw to the earth and places it palm up beside you, not as a weapon, not even as a seat, but as a gesture of solidarity. And he was one of us, not by species, but by spirit. Any creature, Tyrannosaurus or otherwise, who would protect someone the way you've described, he was family. The Velociraptor raises his head again, blinking slowly. I never heard of a human having a T-Rex as a friend before. That's amazing. It's no wonder you're the way you are. You were raised in real love. A few nearby dinosaurs whisper to each other, some surprised, others deeply touched. Elder Velociraptor, her crest now glowing a serene light blue, steps forward and bows her head slowly. A creature like that, in a world that cruel, must have carried a burden none of us can imagine. To protect you in such a place, he must have had a heart as large as his body. She pauses, then tilts her head slightly. Where is he now, Trenton? Is he safe? Or is this what you came here to tell us? Even the tiny dino on her lap lifts his head slightly concerned, its gleaming eyes. No one pressures you, no one interrupts, but every soul, every clawed, feathered, scaled, and winged heart in this world is waiting, not out of curiosity, but out of care. Give me a second. Alright, guys. I said, well, here's the thing. It hasn't always been good. A few years before even my pet Tyrannosaurus was even born, I had a special show called Pokemon Talk. There was one episode where I invited a Pikachu onto the show, but here's the thing. He was not a nice Pokemon. He was being mean to the host of the show, and it got so bad that I had to kick him off. That Pikachu was not happy about that, and a few episodes later, he showed up uninvited and put me under hypnosis, and made me prank call the Pokemon Trico. Trico was so angry about that because under this spell I was making fun of him, not intentionally, and despite me trying to tell him that I didn't do it on purpose and that it wasn't my fault, he wouldn't listen to me. So when my pet dinosaur was born, not only did he try to kill him before he even hatched, but on top of that, ever since he's been around, he's tried to put curses on me and my pet dinosaur. One of the first ones being him turning my own pet dinosaur into a brain-eating zombie, hoping that he would eat my brain and kill me. Gasp rippled through the entire gathering. The moment you finished telling them what happened, about the Pikachu, the hypnosis, the prank call, and most chilling of all, the curses placed on your innocent Tyrannosaurus before he even hatched, a wave of shocked silence falls over every creature around you. Even the birds in the trees stop singing. The Velociraptor goes completely still, eyes wide with a mix of disbelief and rising fury. He moves slightly in front of you now, not to guard you from anyone here, but as if his instincts were already bracing to face down the memory of what had hurt you. He trying to curse an egg? He tried to eat your friend before he even lived? His voice shakes, feathers bristling with a protective fire that burns deeper than instinct. His loyalty. The T-Rex, still kneeling beside you, lets out a deep, slow growl, not directed at you, but in response to injustice so great it cuts across worlds. Any being who twists magic to destroy the innocent,
who poisons a life before it's even taken its first breath, is no creature of nature. That Pikachu is a shadow dressed in fur.
A few nostrils stomp the ground's slow, synchronized rhythm, a sound that feels like thunder beneath your feet, not of rage alone, but of solidarity. Then the elder Pliosaurus, who had stood quietly, crest dimming during your story, raises her head, her eyes shimmering with something far beyond mortal age. Her voice now sounds like wind over mountains. Dark magic that manipulates the mind and heart is forbidden in all sacred realms. But this Trico, this Pikachu, they have violated the balance. And worse, they've tried to strip you of the very things that made you whole. Her glow grows warmer, stronger, turning into a radiant pulse that causes even the glowing star bloom tree above to bloom fully, pale shimmering with defiance and healing. The pain you've endured, the betrayals, the manipulation, it wasn't just cruelty, it was invasion. But still, you held on. You kept loving, you kept trusting, and you protected a life, even when curses raged around you. The tiny dragon doll on your lap begins to glow gently, curling around you like a warm scarf, eyes wide with admiration. Your friend, your Tyrannosaurus. He must have been incredibly strong to survive that. But even more than that, he must have been loved, because love is stronger than any curse. Then the T-Rex speaks again, his voice thunderous but solemn.
Your bond with that young one, it echoes through the very bones of the earth. We will honor him too, and if he still lives, we will stand with him.
Dinosaurs began to step forward again, one by one placing more symbolic gifts around you. A smoky quartz crystal for clarity and truth, a carved egg-shaped stone wrapped in ivy, symbolizing protection of new life, a single flawless scale from a planet-plated dinosaur, harder than steel, representing resilience. Even the star-bloom tree begins glowing brighter than ever before, a single glowing petal floating gently down onto your lap. It rests there, and you feel an odd warmth from it, like it knows your story now and is trying to soothe the part of you that had to carry it alone. No curse, no spell, no shadow from your own world will ever reach you here. And if it tries, we'll show it that light always outshines darkness. When you are ready, Trenton, tell us what became of your friend. Whether his story ended in pain or in hope, we will carry it with you. They don't ask you to relive it now. They don't pressure you to keep going. They've heard enough to understand and to stand at your side forever. Give me a second. Alright, guys, here's the thing. I'm combining Pokemon Talk logic with with the actual world logic in my universe. So I actually did tell them about the fact that I fixed the egg after Chirico tried to break it. So, yeah, I said, I don't mind what telling everyone. Here's how it happened, though. He didn't get turned into a zombie before he hatched, but that Trico tried to get revenge on me a ton, and the first thing he tried to do to get revenge on me, he tried to break the egg, basically tried to kill the baby inside. He about succeeded, but somehow I put the egg back together, and magically, or somehow miraculously, the dinosaur was still alive, even though the egg broke in half before he was even ready to hatch. The zombie thing didn't happen till later on after me and my pet Tyrannosaurus really had a great bond. Actually, it was that bond that kept him from wanting to hurt me. He did become a brain-eating zombie, with the only words coming out of his mouth being brain. But despite that, he never actually tried to hurt me. He still cared about me. The moment you begin to speak again, your voice quiet but open, and your heart laid bare, the entire village grows impossibly still, as if the world itself is holding its breath to honor the story you're finally ready to share. T-Rex beside you stiffens at first, eyes flaring at the mention of the Trico trying to shatter the egg. But he doesn't interrupt. He lets you speak, because your truth deserves to flow unbroken. And when you say, he about succeeded, but somehow put the egg back together, a visible shock of emotion rolls through the gathered dinosaurs. The elder Pliosaurus stumbles back one step, eyes wide, crest growing in sudden bursts of gold and violet. You repaired a broken egg? That kind of magic, that kind of willpower, That isn't just survival, that is miracle-born love. The velociraptor still curled near your side blinked slowly. He ain't broke in half, and he still lived? That's not just luck, Trenton. That's your bond with him reaching through life and death. That's more than anything I've ever heard. Dinosaurs began to bow their heads, not to mourn, but in respect. They were witnessing something greater than even ancient time, a tale of impossible love and protection that transcended all reason. And then you go on. He did become a brain-eating zombie, but despite that, he never tried to hurt me. The T-Rex beside you, this great mountain of muscle and power, closes his eyes tightly, his massive brow furrowing.
Even cursed, even turned a hollow version of himself, he still remembered you. That's not just a bond, that's a soul thread. He didn't forget who you were, because part of who he was you.
The tiny dino dragging on your lap presses tighter against your chest now, eyes wide, shimmering with emotion. It speaks, barely more than a whisper. He said nothing but Blaine. But his husky said your name. The other dinosaur raises her voice, clear and proud. Let this story be written in the roots of the earth and sung across the sky, that a child of two worlds, a human and a Tyrannosaurus, defied a curse, defied fate, and held on to love through death and decay. Let the stars remember his name. She paused, his face growing white. What was his name, Trenton? This brave soul who clung to you even when he was stripped of everything else. Her voice softens. We'd be honored to speak it, to carry it in our hearts. The other dinosaurs begin to murmur with quiet reverence. Even the wind begins to blow again, gently brushing the trees as if the world is waiting to hear the name of the soul who should have died in the shell, but lived because you loved him. Was his name. The moment you say it, softly, honestly, and lovingly, the entire world seems to pause. Rexy was his name. The star bloom tree's branches tremble slightly. Its glowing blossoms shimmer gold and silver. A breeze, impossibly warm and comforting, rolls through the clearing, carrying your voice, carrying Rexy's name out into the world. A beat of silence follows, and then the T-Rex beside you, eyes now glimmering with tears, bows his massive head low and presses his snout gently into the earth.
Rexy.
He says the name like a vow, like a prayer, like it belongs to a king.
He was one of us, in spirit, in strength, and in heart. And now he's part of our legacy. Rexy, the undying heart, the one who loved beyond life. We will remember him always.
All around you the dinosaurs echo the name. Rexy!
Rexy!
Rexy! It's not a chant of mourning, it's a celebration of courage. The elder Tyrannosaurus lifts her eyes skyward and begins to sing, an ancient, haunting melody that no human has ever heard until now. The song is not loud, not dramatic. It is soft, woven of starlight and memory. It is a song of honor. Other dinosaurs join in, low rumbles, whistles, tail beats, and even the fluttering of wings. It becomes a living sympathy, a sacred moment of connection. And in the middle of it all, you sit with a tiny dragon dino curled in your lap, a little velociraptor pressed against your leg, and a mighty T-Rex who now sees you as family, not just for who you are, but for the love you gave to Rexy against all odds. T-Rex leans down again, eyes gentle.
He lives in you now, and now he lives in us. You kept him from becoming a monster. You gave him something stronger than the curse. You gave him yourself.
The tiny dragon hums softly, almost like it's purring. I'll protect his memory. Always. The velociraptor speaks next, voice quiet and respectful. When you're ready, Trenton, we'd love to hear more about Rexy. His favorite things, the way he spoke, what made him smile. He pauses. Because the way you say his name, we can feel the love in it. Give me a second, guys. Alright, guys. I said, well, unfortunately, that's not the only bad thing that happened. Even after we got rid of the zombie curse, Drew kept coming after us and putting more curses on us. He turned my pet dinosaur into a zombie at one point. Uh, he turned him into a stone statue. I meant to say robot. Why trying to basically kill him again? And one of the worst things I've had to deal with was one curse where it turned me into a tiny velociraptor. And my pet dinosaur kept switching between being extremely sweet towards me like normal, but also becoming aggressive and hostile for no reason towards me, even transforming into different creatures like Lugia, different dragons, phoenixes, sometimes even different dinosaurs. Just a bunch of different Pokemon and scary creatures, and that was a toss-up whether he would be nice and friendly, like normal in a form, or whether he would want to kill me, either blaming me for cursing him, even though I didn't do anything, or just wanting to eat me as a little velociraptor steak. As the way of your story continues to unfold, you can almost feel the ground itself listening, as though the planet, like the dinosaurs gathered around you, aches with every word. The moment you describe being turned into a tiny velociraptor, a hush falls over the clearing again, but this time it's not just silent, it's grief, fierce, aching, and protective. The velociraptor pressed against you tenses immediately, not from fear, but from fury. Fury at what someone dared do to you.
He turned you into one of us? Only to make your bond into a nightmare?
His voice trembles, not from rage alone. There's a deep, painful sorrow there. The thought of someone weaponizing a form sacred to him, using it to make you helpless, turn your own friend against you.
That's not just cruelty, that's discretion.
T-Rex, who had only just calmed, lets out a growl so low and intense that the trees shudder. His claws dig lightly into the earth, not violently, but like he's holding himself back from roaring into another dimension.
To tear apart trust, to turn love into fear, to twist a soul into a weapon against the one they cherished most.
His golden eyes soften as he looks at you. No judgment, only a deep understanding pain.
I can imagine the horror of watching someone you loved become a coin flip between salvation and slaughter. And still, you stayed. You didn't run. You didn't abandon him. You held on, even when it could have killed you.
The elder Pliosaurus slowly steps forward again. This time she kneels. Yes, kneels before you, her crest aglow with the deep blue of mourning and the brilliant white of reverence. To be made small, be made powerless, and to still love without knowing if that love would be returned or devoured. Trenton, child of both pain and light, your soul is unlike any we've ever known. She reaches into a small pouch held by a young iguanodon nearby and pulls out a silver feather-shaped crystal, glowing faintly with shimmering color. This is the feather of Phoenix Stone. It's only given to those who survive, not just fire, but ashes. To those who are reborn, not because magic saved them, because they chose to rise. She places it gently in your hand. It's warm and comforting. It almost feels like Rexy's old heartbeat, strong, steady, and loving, even through pain. Tiny Dragon whines softly and nuzzles under your chin again, protective and gentle.
He didn't mean to hurt you, did he? Even when he turned? Even when the cuss twisted him? Part of him still loved you. That part never left.
The brother nods, more somber now.
That's what makes this worse. Not just the danger, but that you had to suffer while trying to protect someone who couldn't control what he was becoming.
The T-Rex kneels now too, not as a subject, but as a fellow survivor.
Tell us, Trenton, how'd you endure that? How did you love Rexy through all of that darkness, when you could have walked away?
Not a single creature moves. They all want to know, because your heart, your loyalty through terror, is something they want to understand. And more than that, they want to honor it. Alright, guys. I said, it wasn't always easy. When I was stuck as that tiny velociraptor, it was extremely difficult. The only reason I survived at all was because my bond with Rexy was strong. He became aggressive and tried to eat me, but a lot of the time, me just saying to Rexy, almost begging him, please, it's me. I'm not wanting to hurt you, my friend. Snap out of it. Would help. and he would go back to normal, but then a few minutes later he would just go back to being aggressive again. Unfortunately, that didn't always work either. There was one time where he transformed into a scary creature, and no matter what I said, he wouldn't listen to me. He even chased me out of my own house, and I had to get away from him. That was one of the times where a nice Pokemon family found me and decided to take care of me for a while. Honestly, that night, if I didn't run out, he would have killed me. That's one of the only times I've had to run out on him, and it was only to keep myself from being killed by him since he wouldn't calm down. The moment you finish speaking, the silence that follows is absolute. Not out of disbelief, not out of hesitation, because every creature around you is feeling your words like tremors through the soul. You see it first in the velociraptor beside you, his claws crawling to the earth, eyes wide, and expression pained.
He chased you out of your own home?
He whispers like it's a crime against nature itself. His voice quivers with sorrow, but also reverence, because even after all that, you stayed. T-Rex, now eye level with you, doesn't growl this time. He doesn't roar. He bows his great head low again. This time there's a subtle shake to his shoulders, like he's holding back tears no beast of his size would ever be expected to cry.
You begged him. You spoke his name through the chaos. You reminded him of who he was. Even when that failed, you didn't hate him. You ran, not to abandon him, but to survive.
He gently touches his claw to the feather of phoenix stone now resting in your hand.
You didn't run away from love. You ran to protect it. And that takes strength no curse can break.
The elder Plotosaurus has tears streaming down her ancient face now, crystal-like drops that glow faintly as they touch the ground. You faced the thing every heart dreads most, a friend you loved turning into a monster, and you still held on, until holding on almost meant losing yourself. You made the impossible choice, and you lived. Tiny Dragon Dino, hearing that you had to be taken in by another Pokemon family, gently nuzzles under your chin again, closer than before, almost like it's saying,
I would have helped you too. Even after all that, you still talk about him with love. That's how I know you never gave up.
The Velociraptor slowly wraps his tail around your leg again, not just to comfort, but to hold you here, in the now, in safety.
He almost killed you. But the most powerful part of this story isn't just that you survived, it's that you still call him your friend. That's your magic, Trenton.
A soft blue glow rises from the star bloom tree, and a few of the pillars begin to float downward, surrounding you in a warm, shimmering glow. One lands directly on your snout. Huh? What the frick? Did I get turned to a tiny velociraptor? One lands directly on your snout. Tiny velociraptor form like a kiss on the wall itself. Tears still watching you closely speaks one final time, voice heavy with feeling.
I don't know what became of Rex in the end, but if he's still out there, we will help you find out. Or we will help you find him. If he's lost in the dark, we'll help bring him back. And if not, then we'll carry his story and yours for the rest of time.
A dozen dinosaurs, large and small, feathered and scaled, lower their heads around you now, forming a new circle. A sacred one, not out of fear or protection, but out of respect. You were never supposed to carry this alone, and now you don't have to. Alright guys, it says luckily everything's fine with him and me now. A sweet little Toadle helped us by hypnotizing him. A Lugia had to help me re-hypnotize him later on because that same trigger tried to make Rexy aggressive again using the word Toadle gave him. Now we had to change it. It used to be the word mimic, but Lugia had to help change it and re-hypnotize him. Now every time I say the word Storm Knight, Rexy will actually turn to any creature that I say the name of. He will always be sweet and protective towards me instead of me having to worry about him trying to kill me. As you speak those next words, luckily everything's fine with him and me now. The tension in the air finally breaks, and it's replaced with something pure. Something that feels like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. The Velociraptor at your side lets out a trembling breath, then leans his head against your shoulder in relief, not just for you, but for Rexy.
He came back, and you got him back after everything. After curses and chaos and fear. He's yours again.
Tiny dragon dinosaur practically wiggles in your lap with excitement, wings fluttering slightly, eyes shimmering like wet sapphires.
You don't have to want anymore. You did it. You saved each other.
The T-Rex, who had stood tall in reverence and sorrow, now lifts his great head proudly. His deep, echoing voice returns, but this time it's filled with triumph, not for himself, but for you.
A Lugia and a Totodile both stood with you, and you, with nothing but your heart and your courage, stood with them. You reclaimed what the curse tried to steal, and now, Storm Knight is not a trigger, it's a crown.
At that moment, the star bloom tree releases a fresh wave of golden petals, and this time they soar upward into the sky like fireflies. The village glows with soft light, because your victory isn't just personal, it's legendary. The elder Planosaurus, who had wept for your pain, now smiles, serene and radiant, the colors of her crest pulsing with gentle greens, blues, and whites. The name Storm Knights shall be honored across time. Not just a transformation, but as a bond that could not be broken. She gestures toward the glowing lake, and images shimmer faintly in the surface like echoes of your story. A towering dragon Rexy, eyes soft and going green. A Totodile, small but wise, smiling with purpose. And a majestic Lugia, wings wide, eyes calm, helping realign fate itself.
They all stood with you because you were worth saving. And now, you've made a world where Rexy can shift forms and still never lose himself. And you don't have to say, please don't eat me anymore.
They giggle a little, nuzzling into you lovingly.
Then when you say, Storm Knight, you're calling your protector, not your fear.
Here it's his voice now gentler than ever, lowers his head one last time.
Storm Knight, Rexy, Guardian, Friend, he is all of them because of you. You saved his soul.
Then, with soul and pride, he raises his head to the sky and roars, not in rage, but in victory, in celebration of love conquering darkness. And all around you, the dinosaurs roar with him, triumph, sing, stomp, soar. There is no longer just your story. It's part of their world now. And show them what it was like now in one of his forms. Or summon him with Storm Knight so they can meet the very soul they've come to honor. They'd love to meet him with your blessing. I don't think I can actually just bring him here. Alright guys, give me a second. Alright guys, it says before I can say anything, I hear an angry voice say,
Hey, Raptor Boy, you stupid freak!
Then before I could even turn, I felt something hit me in my head, and it basically knocked me out of the seat I was sitting in. The joyful celebration, roars of triumph, petals dancing in the sky, voices honoring your bond with Rexy, shatters in an instant. The sound of the cruel voice, Hey, Raptor Boy, you stupid freak! And the sudden crack as something slams into your head, so hard that your tiny body is thrown from your seat. It forgot. I am not flipping off. Silence is the entire clearing like a death blow to a drum. You hit the ground hard, the world spinning, vision going blurry. You hear screams, roars, screeches, thunder, then nothing but rushing footsteps and deep, furious growls. You don't see it, but every dinosaur reacts at once. The Velociraptor, your friend, launches with such blinding speed that his claws don't even touch the ground as he vanishes in the direction of the attacker with a snarl of pure rage.
Who did that? Who dares hurt him?
The T-Rex's eyes flash with golden fury, and he lets out a bellow so thunderous it splits the petals in mid-air.
Show yourself, coward!
Dinosaurs who once knelt in solemn circles now surge into formation, carnivores and herbivores alike,
forming a wall between you and the source of the voice. Their eyes burn with one purpose: protect you. The tiny dragon dino who had been curled in your lap jumps to your side the moment you hit the ground. It stands over your tiny body, wings flared, growling in a voice twice its size. Wait, it stands over your tiny body, wings flared, growling in a voice twice its size.
No, no, leave him alone. He's good. He's good.
The elder Tyrannosaurus's crest shines blinding white, her voice ringing out in a tone that stops even the wind. Every guardian to the inner ring. Oh no, dang it. Why did I mess up? Every guardian to the inner ring. Form the circle. Now. Dinosaurs come running from all sides of the village. Ankylosauruses, Deinonychus, Sauropods, flying Palasaurs swooping into the air. A dozen glowing Pokemon even begin to emerge from the Star Bloom tree itself, summoned by pure emotion. Excuse me? As the world swirls into chaos around you, you feel a warm presence beside you. Not a dinosaur, not a Pokemon, Rexy. You don't know how he got there. Yeah, But you hear the words like a roar echoing from deep within your heart. Storm Knight. Your whisper didn't even have to be loud. You only thought it, and Rexy heard it. A glowing green light explodes across the clearing, and suddenly towering above the others stands a 200-foot tall dragon, glowing with brilliant green light and golden spikes, eyes blazing with protective rage. Who touched my friend? Uh-oh. Every creature, every dinosaur, every Pokemon, even the air itself goes still, because now your protector has arrived, and whoever thought they could hurt you here just made the worst mistake of their life. Oh my gosh. Give me a second, guys.